there YouTube, welcome back for another video. This is part 1 of a few videos of items I made for a swap at the end of last year. It's summer themed and I know there's summer somewhere out there in the world, so it's not that unsuitable. I have to apologize for the footage quality. This was one of the first recorded videos I've made, or rather the first recording of my work with me in progress videos. So today I'm going to make a swimsuit for a Iplehouse k.i.d. I have 2 body pieces, 2 straps, 3 ruffles for the torso and 1 ruffle for the waist. The ruffles are just strips of the lycra fabric. I run them on my machine with a stitch length of 4.5 millimeters, and that results in the machine automatically ruffling them. Before pinning, I tie the threads on one side together so that the ruffle doesn't come loose, and start pinning them in place. So the first ruffle is a white ruffle, and I pin the lowest chest ruffle on first. So the chest will have 3 ruffles, 1 white, 1 the same color as the rest of the fabric, and another white that's white that goes completely around. 2 other ruffles only go across the front. When pinning the ruffles, just make sure that the entire piece of fabric is straight, otherwise your stitches will miss the ruffle a bit if you're not hand stitching. So after the first bottom chest ruffle, I move on to the second one. Once again, I tie the edges of the loose thread on one side so that they don't come undone. A guide for a nice big poofy ruffle is 3 times the fabric which I use to pin it to. So if the side I want to pin the ruffle to is on width 8x, then the length of my strip of fabric for the ruffle is going to be 3x. After the first 2 ruffles, I pin the sides of my swimsuit body together to sew the sides. naturally I have to pay a bit more attention to the area with the ruffles because it's a lot bulkier. And I'm not quite sure why the screen goes black every now and then. So after sewing the sides, I check it on my dress form, and I check the last chest ruffle to see about how much fabric, how much extra there is, or if I need to make the ruffle a bit looser or not. Then once again I tie the edges of the threads so that the ruffle doesn't fray or come loose. And this top ruffle goes around the body, or the top of the swimsuit completely. Considering this ruffle is the one you'll see the most of, we'll have to pin it very carefully so that the top looks neat. And at the same time as the top ruffle, I also pin the waist ruffle. I originally, when I made this, didn't have an exact plan of how I wanted to pin the ruffles and wanted to fold them over, but that should have been done before I made the ruffles themselves. So I couldn't do that in the end. But it's good that I didn't do that in the end because it would have been very bulky. I'm planning to sew the last two ruffles at the same time. And in this case, if you're not that familiar with your machine, it might be better to hand sew this part because it's quite annoying to sew something that's already been closed up on one side like this. My explanations are probably not very good in that case. And so after I've sewn on the ruffles, I fold over and pin the edges of the pant holes for a nice clean finish. For a hint, this is like a stretchy fabric, and if you want to sew on the stretchy fabric, you can either use zigzag stitches, which in my case doesn't really work all that nicely, or when you sew with the machine, you lightly stretch the fabric while you're sewing, so that when you've done sewing and you stopped stretching the fabric, it returns to its normal length, but you can still stretch it out a bit due to stitching while sewing. after the sewing the pant legs, I test it on the doll again and pin the straps. Pinning straps is somewhat an annoying thing for me because I don't always have the exact measurements of how it's supposed to go over the shoulders of the doll. And in such case, a dress form or a mannequin for the doll really helps. But like I said in my mannequin video, the shoulders and chest are some of the most difficult parts of making the mannequin. And after pinning that, I pin the bottom of the swimsuit so that I also can sew that closed. And after that step, we're done. And here's my terrible footage of showing you what it looks like. Right afterwards there are some pictures taken by me and the owner of the doll. And thanks for watching. Bye!